So we're doing some hive inspections today. We actually have 4 hives to take a look at. One of them is an overwintered hive. We just want to do a quick peek, make sure that things are progressing well there. The weather lately has been chilly. We've been getting down below freezing at night, and while it's 65 degrees right now, it's forecast to get cold again tonight. So there is a nectar flow going. We do have dandelions, but I'm questioning how well some of our plants are going to be able to handle this weather. Specifically, we have flowering crab apple trees, and they are blossoming right now, and getting below freezing at night is not good for blossoming fruit trees. So as a consequence, I may end up having to feed these girls for a while yet in order to make sure that they can meet their needs, and to try to get the hive to build as big of a population as possible, since feeding tends to stimulate brood production. So let's take a peek and see how things look. Okay, so this is our overwintered hive. Checked them. It's been a couple of weeks since the last inspection. Part of that due to the chilly weather we've been having. I figured I'd just leave them alone and let them do their thing. So the last time I checked this hive, I did a reversal and took what was the top box, which is where the queen was hanging out and laying, moved that down to the middle. So just a partial reversal. The idea was to convince her that she had plenty of space to lay eggs and try to get her to lay more. So we'll see if we achieve that goal and what the population of this hive looks like. I'm going to take a very quick peek through this box, this top box. I don't expect to see a lot in there yet, but we'll see. Maybe she'll surprise us. This frame is kind of heavy, so I'm going to guess there's shiny in there. So they've been taking the feed that I've been giving them and putting it down into here, which is, I kind of expected them to do that some. I also kind of hoped they'd start drawing out some of these frames that are not drawn out yet. But generally it's the younger bees that do that, and so that really means we need to be getting them to hatch out and move up into this top box in order for them to start drawing out these frames. If we have enough brood in the middle box that looks like it's starting to hatch out, I can always rearrange the frames down there a little bit to try to entice them to draw out frames too. As you can see, there's nothing on these, but nothing in here but food. So I've been doing this is my 6th year, and so my oldest frames, like this one, are from 2016. You can tell that this has been a brood frame based on the color. There have been a lot of bees that hatched out of these, and because this is as dark as it is, that means it has quite a bit of impurities in the wax, and it's recommended that you rotate out your wax when it starts to get old, that you pull it out and let them draw out new frames, because you're getting toxins and whatnot that build up in the wax, because many of the pesticides and whatnot that are out there are actually soluble and can be suspended in the wax, and so we want to get that dirty wax out of there after a while and compel them to draw out something new. So I do have some spare frames nearby. I'll probably grab one and substitute it in place of that one. Okay, so now we're down into the middle box. This is where I expect to find most of the brood, and we've got bees on the top here. I can actually see there's actually bees on every frame, but they're spending most of their time down inside, so that might be because it's been chilly and they're kind of clustering because they don't like the weather. Can't blame them for that. I don't like this weather either. Well, I take that back. I like it right now. I just don't like it when it's getting below 0 at night. Below freezing at night. Below 0 centigrade. All right. So we've got some pollen in here and some food, a few drones even. And this is, a lot of this looks like drone comb actually. This is a frame from last year, and they're not even done drawing it out yet. As you can see, I'm fully foundationless, so no foundation. Been doing that since the beginning. And this has some capped brood, but it actually looks like maybe some of the brood that was on this that was capped has hatched out. And there's some open brood. Don't know how well you can see it in there. Move out of the way, girls, so that we can show our viewers. So you can see the little grubs down in the bottom of the cells, and the ones closer to the center of the frame are large, and then as you work your way out, they're smaller and smaller. And then I see some eggs, which you're probably not going to be able to spy a little farther out there. And so we know this queen has been on this frame within the last few days, if the fact that we've got eggs on it. And that's looking good. I don't see her on here. She is marked, so we should be able to spot her if she's around. Although even with her marked, sometimes I miss the queen, so we'll just keep our eyes peeled and see if we can spot her. Not particularly worried about finding the queen now that we've seen that there's eggs and brood. We know she's doing her job. At this point, we just want to see how much brood is coming, so we know what to expect out of this hive. Okay, so here's another frame where the brood has been hatching out. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at all that. That's exactly what you want to see on a frame this time of year. Look at all those capped worker cells. So when this hatches out, that's going to be probably 2,000, at least 2,000 more bees right there, just on this frame, on this side of this frame. And on the other side of this frame, we've got a mixture of capped brood. And oh, and there's our queen. I don't know if you can see her or not. She's right near the top of the frame. She's got the white mark on her, although she's gotten a lot of the mark off of her. But yeah, I'm going to put this back in because I don't want to accidentally have her decide she wants to jump off and end up on the ground. Okay, so we'll just go quick through the rest of these frames and see how she's doing on the rest of it. This one's pretty, well, this one's got some weight to it, but oh no, look at that. Okay, now we got a lot of drone brood on this one. So you can see the difference between the drone brood and the worker brood. There's a perfect example of that right there. So the bottom 3 inches or so by maybe what, 5 to 6 inches wide, that's drone brood. You can tell by the bullet shaped capping instead of the flat capping that you see on the worker brood. And then there's a little bit more drone brood near the top of the frame. So that is another nice frame of brood, and more drones there. So this hive is definitely producing some more bees. All right, this queen is she means business. Look at that, another one. Look at that, beautiful. Whoops. So lots and lots of productive population building here. Just about seen enough on this one. Oh, this one's heavy. Wow. This one must be full of food. Yep. Yeah, so this one's got capped and open. The open is almost certainly our 1-to-1 that we've been feeding. And the capped could be, or it could be honey left over from last year. Hard to say. Okay, so here's some young bees deciding that they want to get to work. So they're, well, actually no, they're filling that up with food. So maybe they're not drawing more out. I'd like to see them start drawing this stuff out though. So, all right, well, I've seen enough in this hive, so I'm going to close it up now. Okay, this package was installed a week ago today, on May 1st. Today's May 8th. It was the latest I've ever actually installed packages. I was actually surprised when my supplier sent out an email saying he had some, and because I had queen problems in April, I decided I'd buy a couple more packages because I wanted to have 4 hives. And so this got me back up to 4 hives. Anyhow, I did the slow release method using the marshmallow in the queen cage opening last week on Saturday, and then checked Sunday afternoon, and they had already released her. So now it's been 6 days since then, and I'm hoping when we take a quick look, we'll be able to find a few eggs. We're not going to spend any more time in here than we have to. Once I see that she's been laying, I'll be satisfied. This queen, however, is not yet marked. I did not mark her when I installed this package. So if we do spot her, we'll try to mark her today. All right, got a few bees on there, but not too many. Let's try to knock these loose, many of them as we can. So this being 2021, the marking standard dictates that we will want to mark our queen with white if we find her. Years that end in 1 and 6. We go with a white marking pen. So we'll see if we spot her. Now this was a 3.5 pound package. There's about 3,500 bees in a pound, so there would have been about a little over 10,000 bees in this hive, or in this package I should say, and hence in this hive. Now because of the fact that there's no brood in this hive when we put it in, that number will actually be going down for the next several weeks. It takes close to a month from the time the queen lays an egg to the time that you have a productive worker bee in the hive. And so through natural attrition, the numbers in this hive will go down over the course of the next few weeks. But then after that, we hope to see the population start to build back up. Starting as late as we are with this hive, the chances of it producing enough honey that it has excess that we can harvest is pretty slim. It's pretty unlikely that we're going to end up harvesting honey out of any of these packages. But sometimes they surprise us. Last year I got about between 25 and 35 pounds out of a package, and that surprised me because I hadn't had that experience. On the other hand, I've heard of beekeepers who've gotten hundreds of pounds out of a new package. So it's not unheard of, but it's not to be expected either. Okay, so this one, remember, the queen's not marked, so we have to be very methodical. Look and see if we can spot her. What you're typically looking for is a circle of bees with one bee in the center, and that would be the queen would be in the center, and the circle of bees would be her attendants that are standing around in case she needs anything. I don't see any such construct on this one. There's an open space, but no queen in there. I don't see her on this one. Okay. Yeah, considering this is just a package, this is a nice. They've got a. It's obviously settled in. Some of them are even drawing out comb, looks like, which is good. You want to see that. Okay. So again, we're looking for our queen here. See if we can spot her. And one of the things that I've noticed is queens, they stay in the hive literally, other than their mating flight, they stay in the hive their entire life. So they don't go out into the light very often, and consequently when you open up a hive and you're flipping around frames, a lot of times they'll go to the back side of the frame because they don't want to have the sun shining on them. It's not particularly sunny today, it's kind of overcast, but a lot of times you'll see a queen down near the bottom of the comb, and as soon as you flip it over, she'll run across under the bottom and go to the other side. So I am not spotting her on here. Don't see her. And there's just a couple of spots where I would have thought maybe she would have been, but no. And this particular package is Carniolan. I generally keep Saskatraz, but the late season delivery, they had Carnies or Italians, and I've done Carnies before and I like them, so I decided to go that route. So you can see some of the bees in here have pollen on their legs in their pollen baskets. There was one right there, and then here, this one right here, I don't know if you can see her, but she's got nice orange pollen in her pollen sacs. So not sure what kind of a plant that comes from, but it's kind of cool. Some of the yellow pollen, the fact that the dandelions are blooming, I suspect that might be where that's coming from. Don't see the queen on here yet. And because of the fact that it's going to be a month before any new bees start hatching into this hive, through attrition, the population here is going to be going down. Might actually make it a little easier to find the queen, a week or two from now, instead of today, when there's not quite so many bees to be digging through looking for the queen. Oh, there's one with some nice orange pollen on her. Okay, there's another nice one. And, aha! I think I'm seeing some brood in here. Yes, we have brood. Excellent. Not only has she laid eggs, she's laid eggs more than 3 days ago, and it's hatched. And given the size of the brood, I don't know if you can see it, but given the size of that brood, I'd say that that's at least 2 to 3 days ago that it hatched. So she started laying eggs like the instant they let her out. So I like this queen. All right, so I haven't spotted the queen, but the fact that we've spotted eggs and larvae, that tells us this hive is okay. And so I'm going to close it up now and let them stay busy and not pester them anymore. And we'll look for the queen next time and see if we can't get her marked then. Okay, this is another package that I installed a week ago. Also been in the hive for 7 days. So we're going to do the same drill here, see if we can spot some brood. And if we can, we'll just get in and out and call it good. Again, just like the last one, they're between every single frame, so they're all over the place, so that's good. You want to see that. This one feels like there's a little cross combing going on, maybe, because I'm trying to pry these frames apart and they do not want to come apart. So I'm going to go to the next frame over, see if I can get that one to come out so as to not make a huge mess in here. Yeah, this one's loose for sure. Okay, I don't normally want to start in the middle, but it kind of didn't give me a choice on this one. Okay, we're just going to do a quick cursory check, make sure our queen's not on here. Again, if I spot her, I'm going to mark her because I didn't mark her when I installed this package. Oftentimes I'll do that, but I was running out of daylight last Saturday and I wanted to get them in, so I just got it taken care of and got them going. Okay, I see no queen on this, so we're going to call this good. And get our frame holder. Okay. See if I can get these to come apart now. No, they do not want to come apart. They have definitely done something here. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. No? I don't know what that was. Oh yeah, there's some. Yeah, they did connect those two frames a little bit, but not too bad. They'll do that from time to time. So lots of bees on here. Again, I'm looking for the queen. Yeah, you can see there the ones that got opened up. Now the bees are on there cleaning it up because they had connected to the next door neighbor frame. I am not seeing a queen on here. on either side. So we're gonna put that back in. Now, what you can do when they make a mess like that is you can get in there with your hive tool and you can kind of scrape it off. I'm not going to get too rambunctious with this hive since it's a young hive, a new hive. I don't want to cause any more disruption than I have to. This hive is mostly capped food, so we're definitely probably not going to find the queen there because there's nothing she could do on this frame. Oh, feels like we got some more cross combing going on this one. I can see some right at the top here where it's connected. Yeah, it feels like they got a couple of spots where they had connected it, but not too bad. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're looking for our queen, or we're looking for evidence of our queen. I don't see any eggs there. Might have been, oh, we got some eggs. There's some eggs in there. Okay, good. So she's laying in this hive as well. I don't see the queen. If you blow lightly, they'll actually move out of the way. And you can do that to try to get them so you can see into the cells to see if there's, oh yeah, there's brood in this one too. Yeah, eggs. Yep, eggs. So good. Good. So that means we've got 2 frames that have eggs in them. Oh, sorry, no, 2 sides of the same frame that have eggs on them. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll find the same on this one. We're going to find maybe even some, it's a little farther along, more than just eggs. Yes, we have brood on this one. Yep, hatched out grubs. Little larva curled up. So I'm not spotting the queen on here either. But again, that's not my goal. Is not to put eyeballs on her. Oh, there's a drone in here. I suppose that they're going to get some drones in the packages when they make them. Okay, I'm going to check one more frame. So we've got 2 frames we've seen now that have eggs in them. Let's check this one last frame and then we'll call it good, because I'm guessing if we're going to have any more, it's going to be on this frame. I did start this, didn't I? Oh yeah. It's going. Okay, I don't see any on this side. And I don't see any on this side. It's too dark, I can't really tell. It doesn't look like it though. It doesn't look like we've got any eggs in there. So we're just going to say we've got 2 frames with eggs. And this queen obviously didn't get going quite as quickly as the one in the previous hive, but you know, that's okay. They've got plenty of time yet. It's early. Only in the 2nd week of May. So with that, we'll just close this hive up and we're done with it. We have one last one to check, and that's an older package. Okay, this was a package I installed the first weekend in April, so they've been in this hive for about 5 weeks. I added a second deep about 10 days ago because the amount of capped brood that was in the single deep at that point indicated that within a couple of weeks the population of the hive would probably double. So I wanted to make sure they had enough room. So here we are. Let's take a peek and see how they look. These are a Saskatraz queen. She is marked. Marked her when I installed her. So if you're not familiar with queen marking, it's done using a paint pen with a water-based paint, and the color that you choose is dictated by the year. So years that end in 1 and 6, you would want to use a white marking pen. The theory is that the queens, they're not going to live longer than 5 years, especially being in northern Wisconsin. If you can get 3 years out of a queen, you're doing really good. Typically 2 years is about what you expect out of a queen. So that's the idea behind having them be same color in years that end in 1 and 6, because you're not going to have a queen that lasts for more than 5 years. And yeah, so this year's white. So this is actually the second year that has been white since I started keeping bees in 2016. Okay, got some drones in here. Absolutely nothing of interest on this frame. Looks like they've stored a little food in it, but that's about it. Kind of hoping to see that the queen would have moved up in here and started laying in the center of this box. That would be an excellent sign. If that were the case, then I might well do a reversal and take the top box, put it on the bottom, because the queens will naturally tend to move upwards, and if they move up and they don't have anywhere to lay eggs, that's when they'll start to find swarm cells, and we don't want to have a swarm. It's uncommon to get a swarm in a new package, but it's not unheard of. And yeah, this is the year that we would mark with a white pen, but I believe when I got this package, I didn't have a white pen, so I used what I had, which was a red pen, if I remember correctly. We'll see when we spot her. I can't remember for sure, but I think she's marked red rather than white. Nothing but food in this frame. So they're going up into the feeder and bringing food down. So at this point, I do not have high hopes that we're going to find any sign of the queen in this box, but might as well finish her up just to make sure. Food, lots of food, and more food. No brood of any sort. And with as quickly as they're putting food in here, there might not be room for brood soon. Food. More food. Not a lot. I mean, this is not heavy with nectar or 1-to-1 sugar syrup by any stretch, but there are a number of cells on each of these frames I've looked at in this box that have food in them. There's another one. Not as many bees on that. So, and they're not. Doesn't look like they're on the outside frame at all yet. So, no evidence that the queen has even checked out this box yet. Now, what we could do if we wanted to kind of encourage her to come up is we could actually take a frame of brood from the bottom box, move it into the top box, but we've got lows forecast in the coming week down in the low 30s, and I'd rather not end up with one frame of bees in the top box and not enough bees to keep that warm and then have that brood die. So I'm not going to take any chances there. I'll just leave it as is, and we'll hope that nature takes its course and the queen comes up here on her own, of her own volition, before our next inspection. Oh, look at that. Got some drone brood in here and some worker brood. So the fact that she's all the way out on the outside frame, nothing on this side, but those are really deep cells. And I kind of figured they'd probably end up putting food in there, but they haven't yet. But yeah, so she's making drones. So she's obviously planning on staying here for a while. All right, so here's a frame that has hatched out quite a bit, and the queen came back and filled in again. I don't know if you can see the brood that's in there, but we've got some live larvae in the bottom of those cells, and there's still some around the bottom ring that hasn't even hatched out yet. So she's already going back in and refilling where things have hatched out, and I see the same pattern on this side. There's eggs and very small larvae in lots of these cells, as well as some that are in the process of hatching out. So that's a good sign. That means our queen is busy making bees as fast as she can. That's what you want to see this time of year. If they have any chance of surviving, they've got to get a good population in anticipation of the nectar flow, so that they can put up enough honey to make it through the winter. That's their natural instinct. They don't know that we'll actually help them make it through the winter. But, you know, if we don't have to, that's actually even better. So if they can take care of business themselves, then that's genetics that we want to keep in our hives. But we'll give them a little helping hand simply because we don't want to see them die. Okay, there's another frame. Okay, now this one looks to me like they hatched out of this one and then she filled it back in, and we've got a bunch of cap down near the bottom. We've got some open cells down there with some live brood in it, larvae, and there's eggs. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them or not, but there's some eggs right up there near the top. That's interesting. Another good frame of refilled with brood, already capped, and then the live brood up near the top. I have yet to spot the queen, but no concerns that she's not in here, because clearly she's getting the job done. Okay, same thing here. Wow, she's taken the brood on this one all the way out to the edge. That is fantastic. My, look at that. That is gorgeous. Looks like we got another good queen on our hands, and this is a Saskatraz, as I mentioned earlier. And same thing here. I see eggs. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but there's some eggs in those cells down near the bottom. This next frame has a lot of new comb on it, and in my experience, the queens like clean new comb, so I wouldn't be at all surprised to find her on this one. Notice how yellow it is. That's because they've been bringing in dandelion nectar and pollen. In fact, there's a bee right there. I don't know if you can see her. She's got pollen in her pollen sacs that is bright yellow. So she's, oh, and there's some brood right at the top. So the queen's been laying in this frame as well, even though it's not fully drawn out. Oh wow. And just, oh gosh, eggs all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but there's eggs all the way down there. Oh, there's the queen. Here's our marked queen with the red dot. So isn't she beautiful? Big, beautiful girl. Okay. And the next frame over looks like it has some drone brood, so I think we're good on this hive too. I think we're doing really well so far. This is good to see. So let's just close this hive back up, button it up, and call it a day.